early start here, but we've got ourselves a 2-game NBA slate today. We're finally out of that hell that was that showdown yesterday. We got ourselves some important ones today. Can Denver fight off the Storm after they got smoked last game versus OKC? What else can we get going on the slate today? We're going to find out. Comparing my projections to some industry leaders out there, like our friends at Stokastic, looking at their ownership as well. We're going to hop over to Unabated, see what the best bets are today. We're also going to, again, run some DFS sims without my projections, find out what Stokastic thinks are the best lineups. And by this video, you know, all the industry's must plays, along with my personal splash plays for today's slate. Let's get into it here. I forgot to mention the other game. Indiana-Cleveland was right there on the tip of my tongue, and I didn't actually say it out loud. But yeah, we got Denver-OKC, Indiana-Cleveland today. Cleveland, probably more desperate times, but Denver with the ass kicking they took last game, you got to put something down in that spot. But weirdly, totals today looking competitive in terms of the Vegas spreads. 4-point spread favoring Cleveland on the road at Indiana today. A 5.5-point spread favoring OKC at Denver. So reasonable totals for the road teams here. But both teams, Cleveland needs the win. OKC could certainly lose a game. It would be the biggest thing in the world. We'll see how it looks. Let's get into my projections, though, and here's why today for the thumbnail. Obviously, I love Nikola Jokic as a player. Love him as a DFS play on any slate. That's the reason my face in the thumbnail is so is because I'm worried that they get blown out again. I feel like OKC showed Denver who they really are as a team last time out. Picking up the 40-point win last game. Game wasn't even close throughout any point of that. Starters didn't see run in the fourth quarter at all in that game for Denver. You pull up the popcorn machine real fast to look at some of the details here. Basically, you saw all this run here. The starters didn't play for OKC or Denver in the fourth quarter. Got a lot of scoring off the bench. Aaron Wiggins scoring. Hard to predict that happening again. Also, one thing to note, Alex Caruso, guy who killed a lot of teams' chalk last time out. The reason he did that is because the game wasn't competitive. So they didn't play him at all in the second half because they didn't really need to. He didn't have to get a second stint. So for Caruso, basically, if you expect Denver OKC to be a competitive game, Caruso more appealing, even though he didn't produce that well fantasy-wise in that first half stint that he had. But overall, for the situation here, Jokic is going to be out there as much as he can possibly play because this is kind of a do-or-die spot. It is only a 1-1 series, but still a situation for Denver where I think they saw who the team really is, frankly, that last game versus the Thunder. So that's a situation for them where they need to either right that ship today or probably end up getting smoked again would be my concern if I were them. Now, 5.5-point spread for OKC on the road. That doesn't scream blowout or anything. So you play Jokic, you hope he gets there. Jokic projects really well for me. 39 minutes of the projection, getting him at 65 fantasy points. Stokastic has him at 64.6, getting him at 89% of my top 150 lineups. The field's at 53% ownership expected for Stokastic. I think Jokic is a strong play, but if you're playing him in every lineup, you're assuming that Denver hangs in this game, maybe wins it. And I'm not sure that that's the case based on what I saw with my eyes in that last game where it just felt like OKC figured out what they need to do. And it's not, you know, they're just an infinitely better team than Denver, I think, top to bottom talent-wise right now. Appreciate OB being here. Appreciate you guys watching. If you are watching live right after the fact, gonna have to move the times around a little bit because I have to get some best ball streams done, I think, this afternoon as well. But appreciate you guys being here. Hit the notification bell if you want to know whenever I go live, because especially with the views being kind of not great for the playoffs right now, I'm gonna have to do the shows whenever I can get them in, and just hope you guys get the info whenever you need it, I guess, basically. SGA at number 2. So 43% ownership in Stokastic's numbers. I'm getting even 27% of my top 150. Do have SGA about 3 fantasy points lower than Stokastic does. That's probably part of that. Certainly, based on the data, I would favor Jokic. Based on how the game will likely go, though, I think SGA a very viable play. Playing Jokic and SGA also appealing. Situation today is not as egregious as it was last time for the OKC and Denver spot, where it was like a 20-point higher total than the other game they were on the slate with. Here for today, Cleveland, Indiana's 229 implied points. OKC and Denver's 232.5. So you're not really getting a big boost by game stacking OKC and Denver as opposed to Cleveland, Indiana. But I do think playing Jokic and SGA to me has more appeal. I think Denver, I personally think their best hope for a game is Jokic playing a lot of minutes, hanging in there, and still probably losing in the end because the Thunder really are a better team, and I think actualized that last time out. But any part of that, SGA is going to be involved. If it is a blowout, favoring the Thunder, SGA will be there. As long as Denver doesn't blow them out somehow, and that to me seems unlikely. I think that winning that game 1 kind of had an adverse effect for Denver, and this is totally not a data point. But like when you win game 1, you put the Thunder on their heels a little bit more than they would have been if they had just comfortably won game 1, maybe get a little bit complacent. I think coming out in game 2 like they did, honestly spooks me on Denver's chances. Like I feel like OKC established that we are the better team. We shouldn't really lose another game. So that's how I feel about the Denver OKC game overall. And I think for SGA, I think the big part of that is that he'll be there if they do blow out Denver again. He'll be there if they are competitive to the fourth quarter. And if Denver blows them out, it really seems like an unlikely outcome. That's the only way that SGA, I think, would have a good shot at getting you to 50 fantasy points here. Donovan Mitchell. So not getting him as much today with Mobley, Garland expected back in, all these guys. Those two and DeAndre Hunter were all at shoot around. So the expectations are going to play today. And a bit of a desperate spot for Cleveland. Cleveland was in control all of last game. The big issue for them, we can pull up the popcorn machine too. This one I watched every minute of the game. So did not watch every minute of the OKC and Denver game because that one was not fun past the first quarter. But for Cleveland here, really was in control the entire game. You could see at a certain point they had a 20-point lead, hit that 20-point lead again in the third quarter, hovering around it at the end of the third. Things just went askew. There was a point where Ty Jerome turned the ball over twice in one stint. They ended up getting one of those turnovers overturned later on. Look at his final stat line. Basically, he had an awful game, went 1 for 14 shooting on that spot. Max Strus played well. Dean Wade played relatively well. Mitchell played relatively well. Mitchell played really well, put up almost 50 real-life points. Jared Allen played relatively well, put up 20 actual points here. But they should have the dogs if Ty Jerome's shots aren't falling. When you get Garland and Mobley back in, I do think that changes the equation quite a bit. Not just for Mitchell, who really broke the slate with how much he got usage up, how many points he put up, but really because of the fact that these are guys now they're going to take shots, going to make the team better for sure, but also fantasy-wise, you now have Mitchell priced up for a spot that's not really reflective of where he is. $9,500 for Mitchell is not a correct price tag when Mobley is in, when Garland is in. So Mitchell, to me, not a priority play, only 7%, Fields at 18. Halliburton, 20% expected ownership for Stokastic. I'm getting 4. So I had my little one-day love affair with Tyrese Halliburton, with how he played last game, not getting him quite as much today. He's still been good all series. I don't think he's really worth $9K to me, but the ceiling is there for sure. And frankly, even with the injury last time out, had the wrist injury, overcame that, still hit the game winner. In fact, had to grab the rebound and get the game winner up. So really had some impressive plays on the stretch. I want to critique Halliburton more than the data already does. I just don't think he's great. He's not as good of a statistical producer as a lot of the guys he's priced around, and that's the big thing for me. But Mitchell, frankly, is priced up even more egregiously, so I'd probably prefer Halliburton as a play, even though getting more Mitchell right now. Jalen Williams, 45% for me today, 42% for the field, according to Stokastic's data. Going to stand in favor of him. He's a little bit too cheap at 7,600. Not a bad game last time out. I think ended up at just 33, 34 fantasy points, but still a little bit too cheap for what he's doing. Again, the same thing as SGA here. If he's in the blowout situation, he's probably one of the guys contributing to it. If he is in a spot where the game's competitive to the fourth quarter, he's probably getting more run because they're going to have him out there a bunch. So for Jalen Williams, strong play at 7,600, I think, and that's basically that. Jamal Murray, a little bit cheap at 6,800, getting him in 1/3 of my lineups. Fields at 47. Would say that for Jamal Murray, still looks better in lineups without Jokic overall. If Jokic doesn't hit his projection, it's likely because Jamal Murray scored a little bit more, maybe had one of his massive outlier days that sometimes occur in the playoffs in particular. But Jamal Murray, it's not the most exciting play, but he's going to play a ton of minutes. And I do think for Denver, talk about the OKC side enough, I think for Denver, there's going to be a little bit of desperation, too, after getting their ass kicked last game. I don't know. I thought that was a really revelatory last game. Really, sometimes these blowouts can be just pure luck, maybe a little bit of randomness. That one, to me, was okay, OKC showed they're better in every facet as a team right now and have a lot more depth, a lot more scoring, a lot more defense, a lot more athleticism and energy, it feels like. But, that's the same take I've basically had about Denver OKC. Evan Mobley, not really getting much here, 15% for the field. I'm getting 1. He has been banged up. Maybe the minutes being a little bit lower here from Stokastic as a result at 30.8 minutes. They could certainly put Dean Wade out there, get some reliable defense, at least based on last game. Mobley, not a priority play. In fact, looks really poorly projected today at 4.4x value. Maybe that keeps the ownership low enough that somehow just makes him a compelling tournament play on a 2-game slate. Aaron Gordon, 71% for me, Fields at 34. He'll suffer if there's a blowout by the Thunder again. Otherwise, he'll be out there playing minutes, likely producing at a good rate. He's at this point as good of a permanent producer, pretty close to it, as Jamal Murray in the playoffs. Murray's obviously had 1 or 2 outlier days here that are more noteworthy, but I think Aaron Gordon's a strong play here at 5,900. Not really at risk to lose minutes like Michael Porter Jr. is either, because Michael Porter Jr. and Russell Westbrook taking from the same bucket of minutes generally. So I think Aaron Gordon, a good play here. Getting more than 2x the field on him, 71% for me, 34% for Stokastic's ownership. Darius Garland coming off the injuries as well, lowered minutes in the projection here. It's certainly possible that Mobley and Garland could end up playing high 30s minutes, but with them being banged up and missing games during the playoffs, seems like you want to err on the side of less projected minutes than more. But Garland, if he did play more minutes, would be a little bit too cheap at 6,900. As it is, he's under a 5x value, which there's a lot of on the slate compared to some of the other ones we've had recently. Chet Holmgren had the good day last time out for OKC. Still, the projection's not there for me. The rates that he's had in the playoffs haven't done a whole lot to make it look a ton better. That said, for Chet Holmgren, averaging 1.3 fantasy points a minute in the playoffs so far. So he has been more efficient overall with what he's been doing. A little more in the steal and block category as well for Chet Holmgren. So I think he's a play that interesting for a tournament, but the ownership is there enough at 28%. I'm only getting 8. And Pascal Siakam, 26% for the field. I'm getting 9%. Not a bad price tag for Siakam. He'll also look better in lineups without Halliburton in the hopes that Halliburton would fail. Siakam will play better. That wasn't the case last game. Though Halliburton did, have a tough go of that, released in the first 3 quarters of the game. All right, let's sort by value here, and then we'll do the game by game view real fast. All right. Top value guys looking similar. Jokic, despite being the highest projected guy in the slate, still a top value for me. So same thing we had last slate, except that we're hoping Denver doesn't get blown out by 40 points. Aaron Gordon, a top value at 5,900. Made the case for him already. Westbrook, again, play him only in laps without Michael Porter Jr. If Porter Jr. actually knocks down some shots for once, you'll play Westbrook off the court. That said, Porter Jr., quietly, I think out of teams that are in contention still, having one of the worst playoff runs of everybody left. So maybe not wise to expect much from Porter Jr. in general. Christian Brown out there a bunch, played last time out for Denver, 26 minutes, but obviously that was without that fourth quarter stint. Still should be in the hunt to get you high 30s, low 40s if the game is competitive down the home stretch. Brown, not a great producer these playoffs so far. He's only putting up 0.67 fantasy points a minute on 14% usage. Not a great scene for him. Aaron Gordon's getting more. Porter Jr. is still getting shots up, even though he's not been very good. Though he's only at 15% usage as well. But Jokic, Murray dominating the ball for the most part for the team. So Brown is kind of a non-factor there. He doesn't rebound enough, doesn't really get enough assists, but 5,200 is a good price tag for a guy playing 37 minutes. So that's the way you get there. To me, he's kind of like your Knicks guys that aren't Towns, that aren't Brunson. They get enough minutes. Sometimes the upside will be there. Sometimes they'll get enough points just because they're out there for as many minutes as they are. That's your hope for Christian Brown. SGA, we've talked about. Jalen Williams, we talked about. Murray, we talked about. Porter Jr. here, again, would only play him in lineups without Westbrook. Does seem like there's about 5% overlap here with Westbrook at 61% of lineups, Porter Jr. in 44. But I do think both these guys in play at their price tags, and Porter Jr. at 4,400, your cheapest guy on this value screen. Isaiah Hartenstein played good minutes last game, played well as well in that spot. He played 22 minutes throughout the 3 quarters here that they did go. So he probably would have gotten you to 30 minutes and change maybe. Definitely a little bit less secure minutes than Chet Holmgren, who seems more likely to be your closing 5 and also just get a few more minutes naturally throughout the flow of things. But I do think for Hartenstein, strong play again. And if he doesn't play, it probably means more minutes for Caruso. So same thing we talked about on the previous slate. Caruso doesn't play. Hartenstein probably played well enough to limit Caruso's minutes. And that last game was also the blowout, certainly impacted Caruso as well. But there was a push-pull dynamic with Hartenstein and Caruso, even though they play different positions. Andrew Nembhard's been playing a good amount of minutes, projected for 34 today. Got him in 38% of my lineups, Fields at 25. And Max Strus, who will not be as good of a play as he was last time out because you're going to have Garland and Mobley back in, taking reliable usage away. Hunter, too. Frankly, will get enough shots up that it affects things for Strus. But Strus was really good last game. He was bringing the ball up, attacking the rim. He's part of why, too, Ty Jerome didn't get there. Once Jerome's shot wasn't falling, Max Strus started gobbling up more possessions. Strus, I think not an awful play, getting in 41% of lineups, but feels like a lot for a guy who's going to be his team's, 4th option? Maybe 5th? It's not great. Game by game view will be hopefully pretty fast here. Hit the like button, guys, if you can. Subscribe if you can, if you're new around here. Again, new videos here every day, usually around 1 p.m., but time's going to have to move around a little bit because I have to start upping my best ball content so I get paid. So please subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. Check out Unabated too, 20% off, link down below. Stokastic, all their data, all their sim stuff, link down below for 15% off. You can check out Odd Shopper and all their betting stuff from Stokastic, 50% off, link down below as well. All right, so we got Cleveland 116.5 implied points here. Indiana 112.5 on their side. So Cleveland favored on the road here, getting everybody back, which makes everything look less appealing. Nobody projected for above 20% ownership of your key Cleveland guys between Mitchell, Mobley, Garland, Allen, and Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome, though, I am getting at 33% again. He'll get minutes here, and Garland being banged up will hopefully put Jerome into a spot where They need the production and need the minutes. That said, for Jerome, was awful last game. I think targeting the bounce back here after he failed so miserably as chalk, I think is a logical thing to do most times in DFS. He's 5,500. Price tag's not great, but I think he's a good play. Definitely not quite an Aaron Gordon level play, though, at similar price tags. Max Strus, just getting him here, shooting guard, small forward, 5K. 41% of my top 150 lineups have him. DeAndre Hunter, 43% of my top 150 lineups have him. These guys are affordable. They're wings that, fill some positions, small forward in particular, that are going to be hard to fill. That said, I really don't love Strus or Hunter when you get everybody back in. But at least those guys are cheap for the opportunity, I guess. For Indiana here, really not a lot of love for the top guys for me. Not much Halliburton, not much Siakam, not much Miles Turner, who was a key play last slate as well. Nembhard looking like the best player relative value, $5,600 salary, getting him at 38%. Neesmith's been great as well. Indiana loves to play him. He's taken enough shots out there. He has produced so far in the playoffs over 1 fantasy point per minute in 422 possessions. So actually pretty good there. Neesmith is like low-key been, I was watching him last game. I was really thinking to myself, I didn't even feel like that was worth sharing with the Discord because who gives a shit about Aaron Neesmith. He looks like your perfect like championship team fifth man guy who can like knock down some threes. He's got 65% true shooting on the year, as you can see over here. Well, like he's defending aggressively. He's got enough size to defend different positions as well. Doesn't get killed by guards for the most part. I've been surprised at how good Neesmith has been in these playoffs for a guy that was treated, like flotsam by the Celtics. But anyway, Neesmith, good play at 30% for me, 22% for the field. Benedict Mathurin got some more shots up last game, $3,900 salary. Think that was in part because of Halliburton getting banged up. Mathurin soaking up some more usage is going to be a logical thing. Game to game, I don't expect that to always be there, but he did play last time out, 20 minutes. Didn't close, which is really the big thing for him. Hard to imagine him closing. He would have to close over Neesmith or Nembhard, and I think those guys bring too much defense there. They would need to have a situation in the fourth quarter where you really need scoring and the defense doesn't matter to get Mathurin in there. So I think for Mathurin, that's a tough part here. I'm happy to be under the field on him. 21%, Fields at 32. Getting some value, McConnell, 19% of him, 15% Obi Toppin. These guys are just cheap, and they get into some lineups at a 150 set, but probably not core plays by any stretch. OKC, 119 implied points. Talk about SGA and Jalen Williams already. Chet Holmgren as well, probably a better play than I'm getting, with under 10% ownership. Isaiah Hartenstein, think is a strong play here. He and Caruso definitely eating from the same plate minutes-wise, though. Hartenstein should be out there, though, if he stays out of foul trouble in particular. Should be out there as their Jokic counter as much as they possibly can. Really wouldn't try to go to Caruso as much today. The minutes you could see coming down. That said, I think Caruso probably gets underplayed after busting so violently as chalk last time out. Lou Dort's still playing good minutes, not playing well, really focusing a lot of his attention on defense, is killing his usage so far. Dort has put up in the playoffs 0.6 fantasy points per minute, 13% usage, 2% assist rate. He's not doing a whole lot out there besides defense. Kason Wallace had the outlier day, barely played minutes-wise last time out, produced well per minute. He could do the same thing again, but OKC value not looking as good today, it seems. Denver on their side, kind of a do-or-die spot for the reasons we talked about. Jokic, 89% for me, Fields at 53. I think that's a lot. I probably won't have that much Jokic when I put my final lineups in. But I do think for Jokic here, you are going to get some amount of him and I think you should feel okay getting 50% or more of him no matter what, because Denver is going to throw everything they can against the wall. I just am not sold they have enough to stay in this against OKC. Jamal Murray, and again, that could be a little recency bias, but I feel like that was a particular kind of ass-kicking last game that was like, I don't know, that could be like Denver could just be dead. Jamal Murray, 47% for the field. I'm at 33. Price tag's low. Still don't love him as a player overall. Aaron Gordon looking good to me at 5,900. Christian Brown, similar thing as Aaron Gordon, but a less good producer. Again, he's producing 0.6 fantasy points per minute. Aaron Gordon's producing just shy of 1 fantasy point per minute, I think. No, he's actually, his last game, it came down a little bit. 0.83 so far in the playoffs. Point being, though, Brown at 0.67, Aaron Gordon at 0.83. Aaron Gordon's been the much better player. The usage has also been higher for Gordon as well. 21% usage for him compared to 13.5 for Christian Brown. Russell Westbrook in play. If you're not playing Michael Porter Jr., Porter Jr. will get the first crack. If he's hot, he'll keep Westbrook off the court. If he's not playing hot, Westbrook will get on. It's been the same thing it's been all series long, really all playoffs long. And that's how that looks right now, guys. Let's go to Unabated, see what we have betting-wise, and we'll hit the Stokastic Sims, and we'll call it a day here on this gloomy Friday in the Philly area. What's going on here? We're just spinning a wheel. All right. It hasn't made me log in yet. We'll see what we get with Unabated's market-based projections. Again, you would have a lot of great results using Unabated's conditional NBA projections, which are coming out every day at 2:30 Eastern if you want to check it out for yourself. Of course, their data created by Justin Fan and has helped people make a ton of money here. I think it's $80,000 where they finished in the regular season for all the projection releases. Basically when the data first comes out at 4:30 Eastern. And they also put up another 75,000, I think was the final number of the regular season for all the bets 30 minutes for tip-off. So literally, if you did the work, $150,000 of money were there for you to win if you were able to risk $100 a bet. So that's what Unabated does for you. Professional caliber data that people who gamble a lot of money use. Great success. You can get in there, build better pick'ems, better prop bets in particular if you want to be more plus EV. But check it out for yourself. Unabated, a great tool, great company. Link down below. All right. So your top bets, okay, actually a good amount of bets right now. So some of these are for tomorrow, so keep that in mind. But Mike Conley under 6.5 points. Looking on your pickup site, 7.1% EV for under 6.5 points for Mike Conley. DraftKings Sportsbook, Conley under 6.5 on there as well. 6.3% EV for minus 120 odds. So Mike Conley's points under feels pretty good. He's been awful, so that's totally fine. Donson DiVincenzo under 10.5 points, 5% EV for you. Looking the best on FanDuel, looking good on PrizePicks and Underdog as well, with 3.4% EV for Donson DiVincenzo's unders on 10.5 points. Jaden McDaniels over 11.5 points, minus 130 odds on DraftKings Sportsbook gets you 4% EV. Good line for Jaden McDaniels, who does keep playing well, does keep playing good minutes. The Randall was our captain yesterday, so ended up working out pretty closely to what we talked about in the showdown. Even though I did not have enough Randall captain. Jared Allen under 13 points, 3% EV on PrizePicks, looking good for you. Nowhere else is where you don't want to play it anywhere else, basically. Kuminga back in the rotation last game because he needed some usage for Steph Curry. Another thing we speculated yesterday. The Quentin Post thing, I have to say, was really fucking tilting. Him getting announced as a starter, and then the projections all reflect him looking like a top value. Then you have to take some shots, and then I ended up playing Kuminga as a lever against Post, but I ended up half my lineups with Post. Played 3 minutes. Fucking egregious. Point being, though, for Kuminga here, he got more minutes, playing more minutes, getting more points here with Steph Curry, and that hamstring injury seems logical here. Those are all the bets you want to take for a market-based EV here. You don't want things under 2%. You can do 1% if you're really desperate, but we don't need to. Shout out Breen here. Appreciate the insights. Haven't really won, but mostly treading water. Just hoping to get enough right. I mean, that's like winning an NBA. NBA is really hard. I've said it before. I've also said on stream, you have to be comfortable, kind of playing money you're willing to lose in NBA more than most sports, because of the fact that, especially for these shorter slates, if you just don't get the one or two guys you desperately needed, whether the projections were there or not, somebody's going to get them because they're doing whatever they're building out in these series or these slates rather. So I think for NBA DFS, especially in the playoffs, it's really hard. So no shame if you are hanging in there and just treading water. And if you enjoy it, that's really the main thing. I enjoy the process of it all, frankly, more than some other sports. So that's why I do it. OG Anunoby here, probably your only good rebound bet to take, 1.9% EV for the game coming up tomorrow, under 5.5 rebounds for Knicks Boston. And that one's on DraftKings Sportsbook at minus 145 odds. Everything else out of the criteria we want to play, so no rebounds bets I would recommend with Unabated. Let's make sure we're pulling all the assist lines in. All right, so really only one good assist bet here for tomorrow's Knicks game again. Karl-Anthony Towns under 1.5 assists, plus 148 odds on FanDuel. Gets you 7.4% EV. Yeah, nothing else looking good. Let me scroll down, make sure we get everything. Yeah, it's pretty much all of them. Touch Rome assist under you could play, but not really enough EV to advocate for it too much. Also, sorry, I feel like I was talking like I have veneers, but just had an ice cube that fell into my mouth. We got lucky ice cube. We got Mike Conley here under 11.5 PRAs, minus 110 odds on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gets you 4.1% EV. It's the only place you want to play that one. Mike Conley, DraftKings Sportsbook under 11.5 PRAs again for the game tomorrow. And again, this is how NBA playoffs betting sometimes works, is that if you're using market-based data, you're going to find less efficient lines for the games that are coming up because they haven't been fully priced in by the sportsbook. For the games that are today, they've had a couple of days basically for all these lines to catch up and get where they need to go. So that's why I think we're not seeing a lot from the games that are going on today. But DiVincenzo under 17.5 points, 3.5% EV for you on FanDuel Sportsbook. That's at minus 114 odds. Playable as well, an Underdog under 17.5 PRAs on there for Donson DiVincenzo for his under on 17.5 PRAs. those are your best bets right now. At least a few good ones to hit here. And of course, there's more than Unabated when you use the conditional projections because it is a premium, a proprietary thing here. You're basically comparing data that nobody has access to initially compared to a market-based thing that all these sports books can check against themselves. With Unabated's data, you get a pretty big access to something that, frankly, a lot of people use to great success for a lot of money. But also, you're just getting something that's not publicly accessible, so it does a little bit better. So check it out for yourself. It's been a great product, won people a lot of money, and they continue on all playoffs long. They're also doing WNBA, so lots of good stuff to get in there for 20% off at Unabated. The promo code SPLASH. All right, let's go to Stokastic next. Oh man, I really don't know that I have best ball in me today. I feel like I think my talking energy is just not. It's not where I want it to be today. But hey, if you appreciate your host saying that they're maybe not good at talking today, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. It all goes a long way here for me. Just one guy doing the best I can to show you my gambling here, whether it is NBA DFS and prop betting, whether it is MLB stuff I do with Stokastic, and we'll be doing more here on this channel. Also, my best ball content on the @SplashPlay Pod channel. NFL, of course, drafting is going on there now, even though that seems insane to some people out there. That is the way it goes. So check out all the content, support the shows if you can, because otherwise they don't exist. Otherwise, I just wither away, turn into dust like when Thanos snapped his finger. Of course, this sim will have on the screen now. No input for me here, just Stokastic data, so you'll get a pretty good read at what the field's going to do. And you can get these sim data points for yourself. 15% off, link down below is Stokastic. All their data, all their sim tools, no matter what sport as well. If you want to play MLB, PGA, MMA, NASCAR. I think there's a big MMA card this weekend, right? So you can do that. Go get it 15% off, link down below. And it does support the show directly. Half the money you pay to Stokastic comes back to me, though they haven't paid me yet for this month, which is a little bit weird. They're hopefully not just keeping the money. I think that's what we're hoping here. But it's a big way I do the show is that affiliate stuff for Stokastic. All right, so let's see what we get here. All right, top ROI lineups right now, according to Stokastic data. And again, just their projections and sims, nothing for me involved in this one. So Russell Westbrook, Benedict Mathurin at number 1, Jalen Williams, DeAndre Hunter, Jared Allen, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Nikola Jokic. Really don't love playing Porter Jr. and Westbrook, as I've made clear enough times here, but the sim is giving you at number 1, so maybe I'm wrong about that. Andrew Nembhard, I mean, the prices could be low enough that they both can hit. I just think that they absolutely are eating from the same bucket of minutes. Andrew Nembhard, as we all eat from buckets. Andrew Nembhard at number 2, Jamal Murray, Max Strus, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, Russell Westbrook, Michael Porter Jr., SGA. So this one, only Westbrook, no Porter Jr. No. Westbrook and Porter Jr. again. You're also getting Jamal Murray, but no Jokic. That's what was confusing me here. Getting Miles Turner again, point chase at him. SGA looks good. Still just don't like the Westbrook and Porter Jr. Number 3, you have McConnell, Nembhard, Max Strus, Jalen Williams, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, Russell Westbrook. So Denver dominant build here for sure. The lineup doesn't really do it for me. Number 4, Andrew Nembhard, Jamal Murray, Max Strus, Pascal Siakam. There's a lot of Max Strus as well. Nikola Jokic again, Westbrook again, DeAndre Hunter, Christian Brown. So the good news here is you're getting Westbrook with no Michael Porter, so that's a positive. Nembhard, reliable minutes. Strus, reliable minutes. Just he's not going to be anywhere near the same player. Hunter coming off the injury, I think a little bit worrisome, but not a bad lineup. The McConnell ones I'm just not as into. McConnell again, Mitchell, Max Strus, DeAndre Hunter, Nikola Jokic, Russell Westbrook, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray. Heavy Denver lean is definitely coming through so far with these top ROI lineups. Highest ROI players, according to Stokastic. Number 1's Russell Westbrook, negative 2.7% ROI. DeAndre Hunter at number 2. Benedict Mathurin at number 3. Michael Porter Jr. at number 4. So Westbrook and Porter Jr. coming up a good amount here up top. Ty Jerome at number 5. Max Strus at number 6. Jamal Murray at number 7. So all pay down options coming up as your highest ROI players right now. Highest exposed guys, Russell Westbrook, 71% fields at 38.8. So pretty big stand in favor of Russell Westbrook. Jamal Murray in 63% of lineups. Field's going to be owning him at 48. So big stand in favor of Jamal Murray. Nikola Jokic, you're above the field on. He's in 63% as well compared to the field's 55% expected ownership. SGA at 57%, Fields at 42. So in favor of him, Denver, OKC dominating these top 4 spots. DeAndre Hunter coming into 45% exposure, Fields at 28. Max Strus, 45%, Fields at 28 as well. And Christian Brown, 44%, Fields at 34. It's a lot of Jokic. Highest leverage guys: Westbrook, Strus, DeAndre Hunter, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., SGA, Benedict Mathurin. No surprises based upon what we just saw for the top group. And your most negatively leveraged plays: Aaron Nesmith, negative 20% leverage. Halliburton, you have at negative 18%. Caruso, real strong fade on Caruso today. They're hopping off the ship after one game, which I don't think is correct. But they do want to get Hartenstein out there more. So I think that's logical enough. I'm surprised to see Stokastic just throwing Caruso out after one game where he didn't play in the second half. Lou Dort, negative 13% exposure, or leverage rather, only 6% exposure. Donovan Mitchell, negative 13% leverage. Aaron Wiggins, negative 13%. You're barely playing him at all in a 150 set. Peyton Watson, negative 11% leverage. So really no big fades here. The Nesmith one is the most interesting because he has played well. He was in the winning lineups last game. I think he put up 40 fantasy points last game. And Halliburton too, a little bit of a surprise. Stokastic has always liked Halliburton more than I do. But you're really fading Halliburton, Nesmith noteworthily, and Caruso as well. But let's talk about my splash plays. Of course, one last run through plugs, guys. Show some love if you can. Hit the like button, subscribe. Again, it all goes a long way to fight this YouTube algorithm because people just don't watch much playoff NBA DFS and prop betting content, which, at least for me, which, is whatever. But I still enjoy doing it, still doing the work here, and I promise you guys I'd be here through the rest of the season, even though the entire regular season was sponsored entirely by Unabated. Now I'm doing it for the love of the game mostly here, but I'm filling my promise here, so show some love if you can. Subscribe, hit the like button, do all that. Check out Unabated. Again, still an affiliate partner here, 20% off, link down below. Great products on there. Their market-based stuff works across a bunch of sports. They have proprietary projections for NBA and WNBA as well. So lots of great things for you over at Unabated that will help you win money in an actual way. Stokastic, same thing, 15% off DFS. Again, you're playing DFS. You got to be competitive with these other players out there. Using Sims is a big part of that. So Sims tools, data for no matter what sport, NBA, MLB, PGA, NASCAR, whatever you want. They have it all for you at Stokastic, 15% off. And check out the Discord as well. $5 to join. You also get all the stuff I show you here on screen here. If you join the Squirt Squad or Squirt Squad VIP tiers down below. But otherwise, just join the channel. $5 to join. It does support the show and the content I try to do here, showing you guys the best products and my takes, and you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate all you guys doing this. What's this question here? Are you going to do MLB only shows like the Spags when NBA is entirely over? That's the plan. It's possible that best ball requires enough work that I might abandon that plan. But right now, for most of my MLB content, you get me on Stokastic 3 times a week. You also get me on Stokastic doing DraftKings shows for best ball 2 times a week too. So trying to figure out how to balance it all, but I appreciate you care enough to ask. I appreciate all you guys watching. So enjoy your weekends, guys. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms watching out there, but happy Mother's Day to all the guys who need to do something extra this weekend to make the mom in your life happy as I will, being exhausted and taking care of the kid at my in-laws' house on Sunday. Gamble responsibly, guys, even though it's always money time here. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow this channel at Splash Play Bets. Check out my at Splash Play Pod channel later on for an NFL video, most likely. I'll see you guys again soon. Enjoy your days. Good luck. Bye-bye.